Logic, School of Management. It is simple logic.
Welcome to another episode. Logic School of Management presents Business Sense, an entrepreneurial conversation in these COVID times. Today's my entrepreneur is Sandeep Thandasherry. Very interesting person, very young person, very highly qualified person, and also with the qualification goes a lot of experience and the innovation to mark with that. Sandeep Thandasherry is a naval architect. He did his studies from IIT Madras. Thereafter, he went for MBA from one of the most premier business schools in Europe called INSEAD, that is in France. He worked as a naval architect as well as a shipbuilder in yachts in Korea and Japan and all. Harnessed immense knowledge on that. Came back to India. Started an organization, Navagati, and the Navagati organization, along with another French company put together, they had started an organization called Novalt. It's called Novalt Solar&Electric Boats Private Limited. And Sandeep Thandasherry is a CEO of that. So additionally, he also has design architecture projects and design projects that he does for as a service for many clients located. And in this case, he's sort of an exclusively is working with a client in called Mediterranean Shipping. So at a very young age itself, he carries it on his head. He carries so much of input, knowledge and information. Sandeep also awarded a very coveted award by the Prime Minister of India as a Prime Minister's Award for Innovation in the year 2017. Sandeep had been chosen as Thai Kerala's emerging entrepreneur, and he has received plethora of awards for a young age. You know, if I start going into the awards that he received, it goes fairly long. But since we would like to limit our conversation, so I'm just not going to it, just introducing some. We in Thai consider Sandeep Thandasherry as a young business Turk. Actually, it goes very well with him. It is in the hands of people like Sandeep that we would like to hand on the baton of organizations and institutions of the future. Sandeep is a very, very fiery nationalist, and he really believes that India can do, and he is also out to prove that India can do. And as I told you, at this young age itself, he had actually his firm, and he with his design and his firm has built the first solar boat in the country. It has been flying for the last 3+ years. Across the Vembanad Lake between Tanirmukam and Vaikam, that side. And Kerala government has been able to save a lot of money. They have been able to do practically maintenance free and things like that. And he really brought in a milestone, a yardstick in the matters of water travel. Okay, so at a very young age itself, a very accomplished person. Sandeep Thandasherry for you. Sandeep, welcome to this show.
Thank you.
All right, so we will get into the questions now. Okay, these are the COVID times, and this, this is we never imagined that we would undergo a time like this. People now, instead of saying that it is the BCE, it was called before that current era and AD, Anno Domini, etc. Now it is called the pre-COVID era and the post-COVID era. Okay. I think this is never in the imagination of people and businessmen and the denizens of the world that they thought that we would undergo a situation like this. So let me ask you with a light, mildly with humor, how are you enjoying the COVID times?
Yeah. So there are a lot of plus and minuses. I mean, plus is like typically we engage a lot of our time in operations, especially when manufacturing is active. So now, ideally, all people advise entrepreneurs to keep a significant part of your time on thinking, strategy, etc. But we never get it practically.
Yes.
But in these days, since operations are limited in terms of manufacturing, so I get a lot more time to think about future and new ideas and new things. in that sense, it's very positive. And I get to write a lot of articles and think about writing a book, etc., etc.
Oh, great. Articles I have been reading off and on because you've been actually going online with that, and I really enjoy reading you. And also, lots of piercing questions that you make in these articles actually make people stand up and think. Yes, please continue with that. So, what about the book that you're writing? Is it about entrepreneurship or technology?
Technologies. The only thing I know is boat design, boat building. So I'll stick to that.
Okay.
So I'm trying to write a book on that. So, but it'll take time. But at least there's a lot of progress in the last 1 month compared to the previous times. So that way, it has been very positive. The negative part is like we are not able to do the manufacturing. For a product maker, unless you see the physical boat or physical boat being constructed,
yes,
for us it doesn't complete the whole thing. So in that sense, it has been standstill for the past 1 month, and now slowly restarted. So we are trying to do some of or focus on 1 or 2 boats instead of we have to deliver 20 boats this year. So
20 boats this year.
Yeah, correct.
You think you will be able to accomplish that, or you think you will spill over?
Well, we can. If we start by June full-fledged, we can. Now we are doing slowly. So our plan was to deliver by December. So now it may spill over to February, March, but we still want to finish this financial year.
Financial year.
Yeah,
So
the one we are all.
yeah.
One we are already in order, in hand. I am saying the orders, but the new ones may take a bit more longer. So the manufacturing part is affected. So that's the plus minus side. So it's a totally new thing.
Part is affected means to what extent it is affected. So I will rather say that is productivity part of it, right?
Actual execution of the making the boat itself is affected.
Yes.
The design process, etc., for making it, it's unaffected. But processes and all, that's the other benefit happen, because typically we all, while we small entity like us, although we would like all the processes to be in place, because we have projects and we don't have dedicated resource for it, typically the processes development time is limited. But the last 1 month, the manufacturing team spent full time on developing this process, and that way it has been helpful. And I hope the moment they start building the boat, it will be a better way of doing things. So that paperwork they have been doing in the last 1 month, so that's good. It's only the actual people who build the hands-on, who build the boat, who really don't have much to do in that sense. But it has been now, at least this week onwards, it has slowly started with the permission of local body that you can do in smaller groups, etc.
But then you have to really undergo and expand and put up the social distancing parameters in the work area, right?
Yes. Those things are there. Those things are the rules.
Have you realigned your office or redesigned your office and the yard accordingly, or you're saying that keep distance?
The yard is, the only thing we have to take care is, because the yard is a large area. Typically we have 30-40 people. Now we have only 7 people working. So in that sense, there's a lot of space and other things. Office also, typically we have 70-80 people, but now we have some 10 people. So in that sense, we have a lot of space. So that's taken care in that sense.
Okay. Sandeep, I just want to ask you a question, because this is a sort of a cliched question that normally it is asked, but I can't help by asking it. A naval architect qualification from IIT Madras, the premier engineering institute of the country, and a general management qualification from one of the top universities of the Europe, and most of the yards are located in Korea, Japan, Germany, and of course Greece and places like that. You could have had a real good international career. So what brought you back to Kerala and, let's say, Kochi?
Okay, it has been a long time since I came, so I thought nobody will ask again. It has been more than 10 years. So I think everyone have different weightage of things, right? I mean, so what we call we all have to take trade-offs in life. Right. So we give weightage to different things.
Yes.
So for me, one of the key weightage was working closer to home. And doing something here, etc. That had slightly higher weightage than the other things, like whether it's money or etc. outside. and also closer to family. That is also very important. My parents, relatives, mostly are here. So those are all plus points of being in close to home and being in India, and specifically being in Kerala. So there are, of course, trade-offs, but I think in the end, at least I don't regret my decision. So in the end, it works.
So since you said you don't regret your decision, can I say that things fitted in correctly, or it was struggle?
It was a struggle. I mean, I like every entrepreneur, things don't pan out the way we plan.
Yes.
So by definition, entrepreneurs are people who underestimate the risk of failure, right? I mean, that's what at least I think.
Yeah.
So at least when I chose to take this path, I never knew what are the inherent risks.
Okay.
But a lot of things didn't shape out the way I thought it would be. Although I choose a relatively simpler path, which is start from services and then go to manufacturing.
Yes.
Even then, it was a lot of struggle in the first half. I mean, at least first 4 or 5 years. So, but nevertheless, again, when you look back, those are all small incidents, but the outcome is really good. No? So I don't. In the end, I feel it's a fantastic process and journey, and where I have arrived. So in that sense, I'm quite okay.
Very nice. So I think, it needs certain level of alignment in the mind also. Thank you very much. So now, another question is, did you ever think that you would manufacture, you will end up in, or you will want to manufacture the first solar boat in India? Or was it in your aspiration there even before you came?
No, absolutely not. So the only thing I knew when I came was I want to do boat manufacturing. That was very clear.
Yes.
Boat and ship manufacturing. That's known. But what kind was not known when I started from day one. Again, I knew vaguely that I want to do some better boats. That's the only thing. But that's a very vague term. In the sense that compared to what the conventional boats being built here, maybe I can draw upon the lessons and experience learned in whether in college or in experience in Korea. Can we do better? That's the only thing I had in mind. I never had solar boats in mind, specifically solar ferry in mind. I never had. And this is also like an accident, I would say, because when I came the first year, we tried making small solar boats. Again, because we saw a launch of a solar boat in Kumaragam, and the way they approached was took an existing boat, put solar panel on top.
That is right. Yeah.
And that doesn't work also. So then I realized there is a potential to design and improve it. So that way we tried a small solar boat, which we got the Limca Book of Records for the fastest solar boat.
Which you designed from ground zero upwards.
Correct. Now, ferry was really accidental because from a small pleasure segment, then we experiment in fishing boat. Both of them good products, but commercially not great. And you can clearly say that's euphemistic. It's a failure commercially. So when people don't buy a product, it's a failure straight away. So the only reason it led to ferry and public transport is because the realization that unless asset is utilized, the renewable energy doesn't work. I mean, otherwise you can buy it for the sake of showing that you are green, but unless you make money, nobody's going to buy it, at least in India for sure. So that is why it led to solar ferry. So from day one, I had no idea about solar ferry. It is only a few years down the line, it slowly emerged. Okay, this might be the direction. That's the.
How did you end up in getting connected to the Kerala government through, of course, its agencies, building this Aditya, your first solar boat? How did you start and how did you end up in doing that?
So from smaller boats, once we realized public transport is a way, then we started talking to various, I mean, in Kerala, at least the public transport is primarily controlled by government water transport department. So we started talking about it. Parallelly, they had, water transport department had a different, they were also coming with an issue from their side. That is, for them, typical diesel ferry was, running a diesel ferry was losing money every day. Right? So for them, the operating cost of just fuel itself was higher than the revenue, which was, of course, a subsidized ticket.
Yes.
But they were looking at some solution to reduce this expense, OPEX.
Yes. Yes.
So Cochin University had done some feasibility study and established that solar boards and solar could be a solution. That is when they put open the challenge as a tender.
Okay, so it came as a tender actually.
It came as a tender.
Yeah.
So only we had the confidence and or risk taking, or we never knew. But anyway, so we came forward to say we could do, and backed by some of the experience in Europe and technology, etc.
Yes.
So there was obviously a risk in it. So because things can fail, right? So
yes, it is.
And if a government project fail means it is not just your career and your company that goes, your reputation, everything goes also.
Everything. And they would ensure that happens actually. You're worried.
So that is a risk, which again in hindsight, when I see, it's a really big risk. But at that time, it didn't appear so for me. So
yes. That's the beauty of entrepreneurship. When we start this, we really will not think that. And you hindsight, Bapre, did I do that?
So because while constructing the boat, etc., there were a lot of questions being raised. Whether this boat will actually run, solar power can. So then that only, gave till the boat runs, the worry was not over. So only on the day the first trials happened, that is when we could really, heave a sigh of relief, actually. So that is but again, now it seems like a small one-day thing. It was stretched on a 2.5 year period. That's a different thing.
Tell me, what is the saving that government has had, because they had started applying Aditya between these two, Tanir Mukam and Vaikam. What was the saving that the government has had? Because it's a very interesting thing that hearing from the horse's mouth could be something very interesting. Tell me.
Yeah. So typically for them, they save about 35,000 liters of diesel every year. So now they have saved almost 105,000 liters of diesel in the 3 years.
Huge saving. Okay.
Yeah. So that's about 75 lakh rupees, including the other maintenance costs.
Right. Yeah.
So that was almost the difference in cost between our ferry and a diesel ferry.
Okay.
So they have crossed that period.
Yes.
Already the capex difference is overcome. Now every year they will save 25 lakhs.
So the ROI period is over, right? Now it's the profit time.
Yes.
This boat Aditya, what is its longevity? Sandeep?
20 years. These are designed for 20 years.
So 17 years of profit actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a very long sustaining profitability as far as water transport is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. See, in water transport and in public transport in general, we always think of capex is never the issue actually. It's the OPEX that kills the public transport.
That is right.
Because capex can be funded by various schemes also.
Yes, it is.
So even if you give a diesel boat free, they will lose money. That's the point I'm saying.
Yes.
But here, always OPEX is a key, and it works in boats. It doesn't work as much in bus. Even if you give an electric bus, it still is a challenge because unlike boat, for us, about 70% energy is coming from sun, which is free OPEX.
Yeah.
Whereas in electric bus, it's 100% is from the grid. So there is even that difference is also key in the ROI. That's why even electric cars are not break even per se. This is very low in 3 years. That could be 7-8 years. That's the difference.
One small question. Actually, you made another boat to fly a longer distance between Ernakulam and Vaikam, So how long is it in operation now? What is the name of the boat?
Vega. It's been in operation for 1 year, more than a year, yes.
How many kilometers does it travel?
It's a first experiment which water transport has done in long distance transport. It's a 35 kilometer stretch.
Yeah.
And a route where and the speed also is double the normal. Normal boats are about, let's say 15 kilometers. This is almost 25 kilometers per hour.
Right. Okay.
So the speed was chosen so that the boat or water travel time is less than the road travel time.
Yes.
Okay. Typically, it is very difficult to match if the distance is similar because water is always slower.
Yes.
So it works in places where the water distance is shorter. For example, Waipin and Fort Kochi, water distance is a few hundred meters and the other one is 20-30 kilometers. So it's perfect for such, but also in certain area distance, in this case, because there's a traffic jam on the road,
Yeah. So get
Distance
stuck.
is nearly same, but the speed, although it's only 25 compared to road, can be higher. But because of traffic jam, they still the boat reach faster. That was a context which they experimented in, and the experiment has worked fine, and they are planning many more faster ferries. Like first thing is people always thought that high-speed ferries can't work in Kerala
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah.
waves and other things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that also now, which is why Kochi Metro also started thinking of higher speeds.
I understand.
So,
As far as you are actually part of the many new normals that the government of Kerala is actually trying to build in with firms and individuals like you in water transport, actually. Yes. Yeah. Now, see, the one element that you said is the storage. That is the power storage in this. That is typically speaking battery. I remember having talked to you about this. Because one is getting charged from the solar, and also when the source sunlights are not there, getting charged from the electricity as well. You see, and many often we had seen that particularly when it comes to transportation, the efficiency of the battery to store so that the vehicle can be driven for a longer distance or a larger distance was always questionable. So the essence here is the ability of the battery to store more for longer duration of time. And we have always thought about lithium-ion batteries. Now, is there a new technology, or what are the new innovations that has happened in the battery storage technology, Sandeep?
Okay. So there are lot of new research happening in battery technologies. Even when we say lithium-ion technology, different grades of lithium-ion is also there. Yes. Plus aluminum and various technologies are there.
Yes.
But one caveat which at least from my perspective, where I'm trying to address on the public transport,
yes,
is what works today in labs.
Yeah.
It will take at least 5 to 7 years to come to boats.
Yes.
So in that sense, for the next 3 to 5 years, it will be lithium-ion for me at least.
Okay.
Very clear.
Yes.
So it takes time for the technology to be commercial, and then commercial to use for public transport. Because public transport has a lot more safety standards. So it takes time. Cars may be the first areas where these experiments will happen and start application, and then go to buses and boats. Boats is again more stringent than bus, because in a bus you can escape very fast, but in a boat it takes much longer. So again, safety is high. So technology, a lot of things are there, a lot of promising things, and that is a bottleneck which prevents the greater adoption on roads at least.
Okay.
Why I stress the difference is water is already economical. Yes. With the current technology, but it is just adoption and various other things. But on road, it's still not yet economical.
My question to you is typically Novalt, has it been able to build in any intellectual property on account of this storage and battery technologies in the last 3-4 years, and where are you on that?
So many of our technologies are in software, which is optimization side, some of the electronic side, and on the boat underwater shape design. These are our three primary areas. And of course, the know-how of putting all of these things together. So some of them are protected.
Integrating it.
Yeah, some of them are protected. Some of them are like a trade secret, you can see, in that sense. So yeah.
Maybe there may be something, some of those designs or some of those products can basically go for a patenting as far as technology protection is concerned, isn't it?
True. So we are trying to get divide into parts and trying to get that done.
Very good. What are all the future technologies when it comes to water transportation, Sandeep?
So the next thing I look forward to is how to bring in fuel cell and specifically hydrogen into the game.
Yes.
So that you can have much bigger application, wider application in terms of higher speeds or higher weight carrying in water.
Yeah. Incidentally, Vega, what is the manpower carrying capacity of Vega? 120 people. And okay, fine. Yes.
So the passenger, by increasing the capacity, is not a constraint. How much ever you can.
Yes.
It's the cargo, much heavier cargo carrying vessels.
Yes.
To make it electric, you need either a bigger battery or fuel cell. Bigger battery doesn't become economical.
Yes.
So that way, fuel cell, or in boats which needs to go very fast.
Yeah.
There also, fuel cell is what I look forward to. And the reason is, although technology is already there, hydrogen fuel cell technology is there.
Okay.
It is the economics which is not yet working.
Yes.
So if somebody says, can you do a technology demonstrator? We can do it today. That's not an issue. If the issue is in the getting the liquid hydrogen, whether can we get it cost effective,
Okay.
and then transfer from shore to the boat. So these kind of equipments have to be made, which is expensive. And the reason I'm optimistic is because Toyota has put their bet on hydrogen fuel cell.
That is
and
right.
when Toyota does it, that means there is volume.
The possibility definitely. Which are all the states? I think some of your boats, solar boats, will soon be plying in places like Ganga River and Goa and places. So which are all the rivers that it is now going to go, or which are all the places that your boats are going to go?
Ganga it will come. It will come by probably end of this financial year.
Where is it? Varanasi or Allahabad?
Varanasi.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Gujarat, there is a good
Varanasi is one of the oldest of cities in the world, actually. One of the oldest, right. So you are bringing the latest of technology into one of the oldest of oldest of cities in the world. That's a great. That could give you a great feeling. Yes. Okay. Then Ganga.
Then Gujarat, the Narmada is likely to happen soon.
Yes.
Goa, yes.
Karnataka. Goa, is it a river, Zuari river thing, or is it something else? Goa.
That river and the sea mouth area, Zuari. Manvi. And Punjab already has, and Karnataka already has.
Punjab already has. So where is it in Punjab?
Lake Bathinda.
Oh, Bathinda Lake. So is it a boat that is plying there?
Yeah, it's a boat. It's a small 20-passenger boat.
Okay. It's again run by the government.
Private
party. So it is allowed there, actually. Yes.
Yeah. Many places it is a private operates who gets license from government. It's only states like Kerala, Goa, West Bengal, and few states where its government runs a lot of public transport.
I understand. Looking at the Navgati and thereafter the joint venture called Novalt, so where is it poised to take off? What sort of a organization that you will see in maybe another 5 to 10 years' time become, Sandeep?
So today, one is we have to build many more ferries. See, there is a potential for at least 1,000 ferries in a year in India alone.
Yeah.
And then there is a region around us. So one is becoming a big ferry builder. That's one approach.
Yes.
Two is extend it to various other products.
Okay.
Like we are doing smaller boats for tourism purpose.
Right.
Second, we are doing fishing boat. We are doing some experiment with shell foundation. So we will build 5 fishing boats this year.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
Small fishermen to see how they can make their sustenance by having low OPEX.
Yes.
So that's the fishing boat sector. Then there are petrol boats for Navy and police force. That is also potential where parallel hybrid is possible. So there are many other applications where we will launch our products in the next 1-2 years. Okay. And so in that sense, to become a large player in the marine transport sector. Yeah, that's the idea.
That's the idea. Okay. Now, I'm sure many more awards must be on its way and things like that. I am also seeing you in the capacity as a mentor in many of those startups which had actually come up in our Kerala Startup Mission, Kalamassery, Ernakulam, as well as other places. So tell me about your experience with the startup, Sandeep.
Means me mentoring somebody?
Yeah, you mentoring, yes.
I have not actively mentored, but of course, some people I have had some engagement with, like iRow and all, and a few other startups who I wouldn't say I'm actively mentoring them. It's just some discussions we have, and I usually tell what I have done because I can never advise them what they should do.
Okay.
Because I don't know their context. So I try to tell what I am doing in my space. Can they relate to it, etc., etc. Because unless you have a solid understanding of their company, their product, their space, I can't offer advice is what I feel. So
another way, Sandeep, actually, it is not always advice that you give. The very fact that somebody comes and meet you up and the way you come up and the way you do things, the energy that you carry and the problem resolution that you have in mind, etc., that also really motivates a lot of people. So it is not only the typical advice that you give,
No, those I give for many people, yes.
That's what I'm saying. So meeting you, sitting with you, having a session with you, maybe a breakfast or a lunch with you, and then you tell them a thing or two, and this can really come handy as far as these people are concerned. Definitely, because I have seen you many times in Kerala Startup Mission, part of events or part of meetings. So that's why I asked you this question.
Yeah.
Now, there is a question that I would like to put up, but if you don't want to answer, it's okay. That is this. That is because we have our metro rail is going to take up the metro. I mean, water transport also, and it is supposedly done through the Cochin shipyard. And there had been some challenges or some discussions and some brainstorming that was going on as to what design that they must have and things like that. So at that point in time, we were quite agitated as a technologist, not as a company owner or anything. As a technologist, you were quite agitated. So would you like to comment upon this in case you want? I mean, so
of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
These are all in public domain, I have told.
Yes.
So no problem.
Yeah.
So Kochi Metro started off with a disaster by choosing steel boats, which
Yes.
is the steel and electric is a combination which nobody in the world does. I don't know
Yes.
why they were doing it. It was obvious that they were going on the wrong direction. And our issue when we had this pre-bid meeting, etc., was the very, I would clearly say, very arrogant way in saying that this is what we will do and there's nothing we can change. Obviously, they had to change later because steel, they had to reverse it because many other people also felt that steel was not the way to go. Okay. It is either fiber or aluminium you choose for public transport, light and electric boats.
Yes.
So that's one thing which they have reversed, fortunately. But there are many other things which they have gone ahead and got away with also. For example, in the choice of the shipyard itself.
Yeah.
I mean, the criteria they have set out is just as if, I don't know if it's obvious match fixing, but the tender is meant for Cochin shipyard with zero experience of building electric boats. And they have got the tender by keeping conditions like ability to build 100 tons of steel and or having a turnover of 100 crore every 5 years. Just make sure that nobody else with the technology can participate. So they cleverly qualified people with technology like us as a technology provider to these shipyards. That's one thing they did. Yeah. Now, when shipyard got the tender, it is assumption that they don't have the capability in terms of this propulsion technology. So they are depending on a technology provider. Yeah. But when it comes to them offloading or subletting the work, because they obviously don't have the technology. So they have again shortlisted like us, many other people. Yes. But they, instead of keeping it open-ended like KMRL have done for the various choices of technology, they have specified one choice of technology, which in my mind is specifically targeted one particular service provider, which in this place I am not telling, but it's somebody who offers for the large ships. Okay. And it is very strange that they have made that choice when the assumption is that they don't have the capability or technology. So how can they make that choice and then eliminate two other choices? So this is my issue with KMRL's original tender as well as Cochin Shipyard current version of tender, and I have raised it in various forums, including raised it at the PMO office also, because I felt it very unreasonable that they are doing this way. In the first case, I don't think Cochin Shipyard should be making boats with a large infrastructure, and these kind of small boats are meant for MSME yards. Yes. So these are not meant for shipyard. They should be building aircraft carriers, tankers, and containers. If they are not getting the orders for that, that's a different issue altogether. Yes. They should not be doing this. Is what my submission on MSME yard protection per se. That's a different thing. Yes. But anyway, this Kochi Metro thing is still live, and we don't know how things will work out. But I'm not happy with shipyard or KMR. And I think KMR is going to repeat the same thing what they've done in the next tender for 50 passenger boats. I mean, that's so let's see how it goes, but I will be very vocal about my opposition.
Right. Nice. I think I also, that's why, since I was interviewing you, I thought, okay, if there is something that as an entrepreneur that you have raised, I think I should give you the forum to do so. That is why I asked this question. But sometimes entrepreneurs say, no, I don't want to do this, controversial, I don't want to publicly state, etc. But I had seen in your writings as well as in your communications that this is popping up any number of times, That is where. Okay. Sandeep, I really didn't know this last 35 minutes we have been talking. It almost as if we only talked for 5 minutes, So this is the way it is. Actually, you have it was a very freewheeling, very smooth flowing conversation. I'm very sure that in fact, as I said in the beginning, I'm very sure the future of India as well as future of entrepreneurship is much more safer in the hands of people like you. You are both level-headed as well as, you have the advantage of the technology and the latest technology with you. I'm sure Novalt as well as any other venture that, other diversification that you actually come up with will also go from strength to strength. Here is wishing you and your organization and your people very best. And as we are in COVID times, we will wind this up with a big namaste.
Okay, namaste.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.